I'm Eli Ehrlich, the Director of Trans Student Educational Resources.
I'm Harper, and I'm the Project Director here at Trans Student Educational Resources and a student at Bard College.
My name is Lily, and I'm a social psychology student at Stanford and a board member at TSER.
My name is Aubrey Sassoon. I'm a student at UCLA.
I'm Pauline Angel, and I'm a volunteer member of Trans Student Educational Resources.
And we're here to talk to you about Trans Day of Visibility. Let's start by asking the most basic question. What is visibility?
The state of being able to see or be seen.
What does that really mean?
To me, at least. Being able to see authentic experiences, authentic selves represented.
With the day like Transgender Day of Visibility, I'm so glad that we are able to celebrate ourselves as a community and celebrate our successes.
Why do we need visibility?
When I was growing up as a young queer transgender girl in a rural community, I didn't know any other trans people.
It's about not being the only one.
I've always been afraid to let everybody know what I am.
I thought I was alone, and it was incredibly isolating.
It's about being able to feel comfortable expressing myself in my daily life and not feel so alone, like it sometimes can feel to be trans.
If I had seen just one other trans person, I'd be better off knowing there were people like me.
If they don't see themselves, then how are they going to feel like they should get engaged?
Transgender and gender nonconforming folks need visibility, but not visibility for visibility's sake.
The transgender movement has finally reached visibility in the mainstream.
But there are problems with visibility and questions that need to be asked.
Let's ask who's even being represented. It's mostly upper-class, cis and straight passing white trans women.
We also repeatedly see cis people playing trans characters, so even the representation we do get is inauthentic.
There's a big issue here, and visibility isn't going to solve it.
Orange is the New Black and Caitlyn Jenner are not enough.
Even though visibility through media has improved, sort of, we need to go further.
It can't directly really change our laws, our policies that are enacted that really have huge impacts on the lives of trans people day to day.
We need more than visibility.
Visibility is easy. Visibility is comfortable. Visibility is the myth that recognizing our existence somehow keeps us alive.
Popular media is only part of the solution. It's only part of our daily life.
And the other aspects of trans people's daily lives are what matter most. This is why we need more than visibility. Seeing myself represented in the media would help, but it's really about whether or not we're safe at home, work, and school.
Rates of violence are still increasing.
Visibility has not stopped the murders of hundreds of transgender people, most of them transgender women of color, each and every year.
Visibility has in some cases increased the discrimination we face. The more visible we are, the more backlash we deal with.
Visibility without action only makes us target practice.
We see this not only in the form of murders and hate crimes, but in more subtle ways like bathroom bills. Before people realized trans people existed, they weren't so concerned with legislating against us.
Visibility without an understanding of the big picture, because perhaps taking action is scary, because liberation demands work, does nothing for us.
It's clear that something needs to be done other than putting us on TV and in movies.
What we need now is justice, liberation, growth, love, community.
We need to take action, and we need activism centering intersectionally marginalized trans people leading this movement.
We need major policy shifts that focus on bridging the gap between education and employment, overturning discriminatory bills, restructuring health insurance,
Divesting from private prisons that benefit from the incarceration of people of color, decriminalizing the sex work that many trans women are forced into, guaranteeing affordable housing, education, healthcare, and healthy food for low-income people so that they have the means to thrive.
So at this point you're probably wondering what you can do to help. Well, the first step is to work with us.
We need trans and cis people to work together to undo decades of transphobic violence affecting our communities.
You can also support local trans people that you know, local artists, local activists who are who are there telling us all they need help.
You can make an effort to be aware of the language that you use. Everyone, trans and cis, needs to be aware of how they talk about issues that affect trans people. You should ask yourself, what assumptions go into making this statement? Does this statement treat trans people as a threat? Does it dehumanize trans people? Language is important. Being aware of your language is the first step towards productive dialogue.
You can support national groups like the National Center for Transgender Equality, which really gets at these large policy issues that media visibility doesn't directly or effectively address.
Of course, national movements don't get at all of the problems either, which is why you need to look to more local solutions as well.
You can support, grassroots movements like Trans Student Educational Resources, run by trans students for trans students.
We're a nonprofit dedicated to transforming the educational environment for trans and gender nonconforming youth through advocacy and empowerment. We provide model policy, infographics, workshops, and events like the first ever Trans Youth Leadership Summit. So this year, we ask you to take this Trans Day of Visibility to think about and change how we treat transgender people on the other 364 days of the year.
Do I care about Trans Day visibility? Yes, because I care about the future beyond visibility where people like me can thrive, and you should, too.
This year, let's take visibility as a form of collective action to transform our future.